Well, this is me, a guy from Northern Europe who's currently living in a small African village. What am I doing here, you may ask? I'm a house husband. Yeah, you heard correctly, a house husband. But let me explain. Well, and for everything to make sense, I should probably start by showing you where exactly this small African village is located. To get there, our journey began during the early hours of the day in Kampala, the capital city of Uganda. We jumped on a local bus, and after about 7 hours, arrived at the first stop. We've made it to a small town called Mbala, in the eastern part of Uganda. It was a lively place with colorful streets and many vendors who filled the sidewalks with fresh produce. And from here, somebody is supposed to pick us up and take us deep into the country, somewhere in the mountains. We had hardly enough time to make ourselves feel comfortable on the side of the road. And then...
Nice to see you!
Hey, how are you? So a lovely gentleman called Peter just picked us up from Mbala, and now there's another 1.5 hours to drive into the mountains. In a matter of minutes, we picked up 2 more people, and then started the second leg of our journey. It didn't take long for the paved roads to end. And looking out from our car windows, we got the first glimpse of what we had gotten ourselves into. It almost felt like traveling back in time. Few minutes before sunset, the car stopped. But what we didn't realize was the fact that this only marked the beginning of the third leg of our adventure. Because what followed was a challenging hike on a steep and slippery mountain. It's a long journey. Been hiking strictly uphill. 20 minutes. I guess altogether it took us about 45 minutes to get to the top.
But we got here and everybody was introduced by their name, and it was like a very, very warm welcome, which I did not expect. We were like dead tired, but just welcomed so warmly.
After the introductions, we quickly went to bed. And it wasn't until the next morning that we properly understood where we were. Hey. Once we got out of bed, I had about 20 minutes to get to know our new home here in West Ugandan mountains. We have a 2-person bed, we have a window, a mosquito net, and a place to hang our clothes. It was a small complex with about 4 bedrooms, a kitchen, and here we have the outdoor kitchen. Most of the meals we actually cook inside on a gas, but more traditional dishes are made here. And this is our extremely pregnant cat, Freddy. As you can probably guess, she got the name before people realized that she is a female. How are you doing, Freddy? And of course, there was few other extra rooms for special occasions. And after being able to talk with Peter and Miriam, the 2 people who keep this place going.
This is Peter, I'm the director of Zion Community Clinic.
I felt confident enough to tell you why we were here. So this place is called Zion Community Clinic, and in short, it's a small facility that offers medical services to people that otherwise might never in their lives be able to see a doctor.
The people that are located here are underprivileged. This community that lives on less than $1 a day. In fact, most of them live on less than $1 a week.
And of course, it's quite important to mention that the whole thing is 100% operated by volunteers.
Yeah, this work gives me a fulfillment while I do it because I'm born to do. It's a gift. I take it as a gift that I'm born to do. And the government work that I also do over the weekends. That is where I get my compensation, such that I'm able to get the money to sustain this project.
There was no doubt about the fact that this whole clinic was full of incredible people who have given years of their lives to support this community. And I'm not gonna lie, after understanding everything that's going on here, I sort of had a bit of a meltdown.
Personally, I have sort of a imposter syndrome. Like, I'm no doctor, I have known nothing about vaccinations. I'm here and...
Yeah, I'm not sure if I've ever felt so out of place in my life before. Because together with Liisu, we had decided to volunteer here for a whole month. But unlike her, who's a qualified doctor, my biggest accomplishment in the medical field happened when I once managed to overcome a flu without complaining about it. And so I was having trouble understanding what in a world was my purpose here. Yet fortunately, before I could overthink the whole situation, we received an invitation to join everybody else for a special weekly event.
It's currently Sunday, which of course in every self-respecting African village means a church day. So we're gonna put on some nicer clothes and hopefully we get to join their church ceremony, mass, sermon.
Well, I clearly had no clue about the religious customs of Uganda. But as we made our way to the church, I couldn't believe my eyes.
The church is right behind our little clinic.
Our backyard was filled with people singing and dancing. And as we entered the church itself, the happiness was simply contagious. There was many different performers. And we spent a good part of an hour singing, which was then followed by reading the Bible.
As you go in the house of the Lord. What does it mean?
But the moment that truly shocked us was when the pastor introduced us to everyone who lived in this village.
I am Liis, and we come from a country far away called Estonia.
It felt truly strange to hear people cheering for us.
My name is Joe, that's like the short version of Joseph. And just like Nina and Liis said, we're extremely glad to be here.
We had not done anything for them, and I simply could not understand why and how we deserved such a warm welcome. But as the dancing and singing continued, I thought to myself that perhaps it was me who couldn't yet see the whole picture. At the end of the service, everybody left a small donation towards different ongoing community projects. And then it was again time to leave.
The dancing, the singing, the atmosphere, like you don't see it in Europe.
This experience had shifted something inside of me, but still, I was questioning my own place in this community. Yet, as Sunday was our only day off, after the sermon, Liisu and Nina decided to spend the rest of the day by going on a journey of their own. They visited a local hair salon, which took them more than 8 hours. Without a doubt, the whole thing could be called an adventure and a half. However, most of you are probably wondering, what does all of this have to do with me becoming a house husband in Africa? And so, I will instead tell you in detail what happened during this time back in a clinic. As the girls left, I was still sort of in the middle of an existential crisis. And to clear my head, I decided to go for a little walk in the nearby villages.
We're leaving our little clinic behind and heading somewhere I actually don't know where.
It wasn't easy climbing up and down the steep hillsides.
From up here, you can quite well see the shining roofs. The whole area, it feels empty, but when you get to a higher point and look around, then every piece of those mountains has a home on it.
With every step forward, I learned a little more about this community.
Most of the houses here, they're built of this red mud. You have a wooden structure inside, and then it's like patched around with mud. Here you can see the most common form of construction. You do those frames, right?
Yes.
And then you
use the soil.
you use what you have.
Yeah, you use what you have. This is how the traditional people started their buildings. So later when they get money, they now change the building to cement and bricks
And for most families, their only livelihood came from their small plot of land, where corn, beans and bananas were grown.
And without a doubt, the main crop is bananas. You can eat them, you can actually fry them if they're the plantain. And I can't say most importantly, but a lot of people also use it to make beer.
In this region, having livestock, and especially cows, is a clear sign of wealth. Yet while walking here, I couldn't forget Peter's words about how most families here survive on less than $1 a day. Like, I just couldn't wrap my head around the fact that the small camera in my hand cost as much as a whole family would spend in a year. The situation in the small village centers wasn't much different.
There's about 20 to 50 families together in small houses. They have their own small shops.
Yes, over there you could find a few stores that were usually just barred windows or doors in someone's home.
So this is pretty much what a big store looks like in the village. There are a couple of like detergents and soaps and things like this. Yeah, this is the place where you can get a few more essential things, but if you need something bigger, then of course, hey! Then of course you need to go to Mbale, which is like 1 million city, or Bududu, which are like 5,000 people.
Yet the one thing that didn't change was the fact that wherever I went, people were smiling. They always greeted me.
How are you? Murembe. Good.
In a weird way, I even felt like I sort of belonged here. Sometimes it was small kids, who I think wanted to make sure that I wasn't just a big white ghost. On other times, it was local men
Banana beer, yeah.
Yes.
who were willing to share with me their most precious possession.
Have a taste also.
No, I don't like beer.
I have to admit that this was not my proudest moment. I think I was just scared, but I don't think that anyone believed that I actually don't like beer.
No, I don't like beer.
You don't like beer.
No.
You don't like beer.
No.
But still, it felt amazing to be so kindly welcomed in a totally new place.
Murembe. Bye-bye.
It took me many hours to make it back home again. But once there, I remembered something that I had told Liisu about 3.5 years ago, in the very beginning of our relationship. You see, I had promised her that I would do anything in my power to support her dreams in the medical field. And all of a sudden, I realized why I was here. And by the time the night fell, every piece of doubt was gone from my body. The following morning started with a new sense of purpose.
Rising shine, sunshine, shine.
Do I have to?
Yeah.
I got us both out of the blankets, made the bed, and then...
That's the first thing in the morning. We're gonna mix up some breakfast, which is most commonly some fruits, some nuts. Pretty much everything that's in season and available.
The African saying about the peanuts that your hand can never relax without the plate getting empty. Or even sometimes when you put in a pocket, the hand will not stop going there until it finally finds out that there's nothing now to
It's all done.
It's all done.
Once our bellies were filled, it was time for Liisu to occupy the main chair in the office. For years, she's been dreaming of practicing medicine in such a place, and it felt truly amazing to see her doing what she does best. However, in the meanwhile, I fully embraced the role of a house husband. Because in this situation, the best thing I could do was to support Liisu as much as I could. I helped out in the kitchen.
Nina, what you doing?
I'm just looking through the rice because sometimes there are some stones in it.
So part of cooking dinner is cleaning rice.
I also tried to keep our room clean.
One of the biggest problems with our room is that we don't have cupboards or places to put their things, and it's very hard to keep nicely.
And at times, even did the laundry.
Oh, and of course, when I said washing the laundry, it does not involve a washing machine. It involves a bucket and a tap and a lot of man hours. Miriam had a look how I washed my pants and she was like, let me help you. And if we started with just me, then me and Miriam, and now we have quite a nice audience. At least it's not boring washing alone.
And you know what? While splashing around in the soapy water, I realized something. To be a housewife or a husband is much harder than I ever imagined. It takes trust and courage to put your own dreams on a hold while supporting your partner in theirs. But honestly, although it might sound like a cliche, then if you really love each other, then seeing the happiness in your partner's eyes really does make it all worth it.
I got the first malaria.
You shouldn't be dancing when you just diagnosed the malaria.
But it's very beneficial for the next one, because then I'm already gonna be like, ah?
All in all, like, it's very interesting working when you don't have a lot of resources. You just have your hands and your head.
How was your day, honey?
How was your day, honey? What did you do?
Everything. I did everything. I do everything for this family. I'm tired.
Yes, the house husband is always tired.
You see, girls? They're all as snarky like this. They're all just snarky.
Friends, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next Thursday, because then you'll get to see what it really means to be a volunteer and literally help save lives in Africa. Take care and bye.